Judge, thank you for the kind introduction. It was an honor working with you, Nelson, every day during the height of COVID-19 and this pandemic we've all faced. Our community, of course, will miss his leadership when he steps down at the end of the year, so let's give another round of applause for our Bexar County Judge, the great Nelson Wolff. Also, thank you to my City Council colleagues. I think all 10 of them are here. We're almost a year into this term, and I'm proud to say that while respecting each other's differing viewpoints, we have found a way to work together and build consensus on a flurry of big decisions, such as passing the Strategic Housing Implementation Plan, approving the framework for the American Rescue Plan Act funding, calling the 2022 bond election, and approving the San Antonio Airport Strategic Development Plan. And we've continued the city's push toward equity and increasing opportunities for all San Antonians. Last year, we passed the 5th consecutive budget centered on an equity framework. Let me also recognize City Manager Eric Walsh. In just 3 years as the city's chief executive, he has successfully managed the organization through more challenges than most city managers face in their entire careers. Eric and his team remain committed to responsible stewardship of your tax dollars while managing a daunting array of programs and services. And that has been no small task with the economic turmoil caused by a global pandemic. And of course, I wouldn't be here without the support of my wife, partner, and best friend, Erica Prosper, who inspires me every day, and my son, Jonah, who is the reason I entered public service, because I want San Antonio to be the type of city he would choose to live in, even if he could live anywhere else in the world. I also want to note that Trinity University President Danny Anderson is here with us today. Danny, congratulations. He's announced that he will be retiring at the end of next month. So President Anderson, thank you again for your outstanding leadership of my alma mater and best wishes for your next chapter. And of course, it is great to see you all in person once again. Finally, after the 2-year hiatus, the in-person United State of the City address is back. And speaking of triumphant returns, how about this year's fiesta? Viva! Thank you to the San Antonio Chamber of Commerce, the Hispanic Chamber, the Alamo Asian Chamber, and San Antonians for Growth on the East Side for hosting this State of the City event. Your continued partnership is essential for the future success of our city, and I'm grateful for your commitment and dedication. As we resume the annual Mayor's State of the City address, this fantastic facility, the Tech Port Center and Arena, is emblematic of the trajectory that our city is on as a world-class city of innovation. Among the facility's many benefits, Tech Port Center and Arena position San Antonio as a leader in the world of esports, which is a massive and fast-growing sector of the American economy. I'm truly excited to be part of the facility's launch, and I know a few of you, I think Tim just said, we're looking forward to seeing some great rock concerts here in the coming months as well. A few days ago, I was invited to preview the LAN Gaming Center that's just down the hall here. I hope you get to visit it as well following today's event. And I met with some avid gamers from South San High School, from Texas A&M San Antonio, from the Air Force and Space Force. These young women and men shared with me how being part of esports in their respective schools and institutions has taught them real-world skills, from how to build and maintain your own computer, to skills like teamwork, analytical thinking, and much more, and how they were on a path to become the next generation of tech talent and innovation. And elsewhere in this very building, San Antonio is now hosting a collaborative laboratory led by Capital Factory that will connect local startups to future partners, Capital Factory, and connect to future investors and to the economies of the world. So, congratulations to Chris Aldrete and the Port Board, Jim Persbach, and the entire Port San Antonio team for your vision and the completion of this trailblazing facility, which is the embodiment of the amazing innovation underway at the Port. This new state-of-the-art venue, like no other in the country, represents a unique vision and investment by the Port and its partners of how we can create spaces that inspire, that unify, and that connects San Antonians to a world of opportunity. Even as we launch this venue, though, there are other innovative developments in progress across our city. To mention just one, the UTSA School of Data Science and National Security Collaboration Center is rapidly rising. The facility will transform the downtown core, aligning with the tech firms and startups that are already operating in the tech district that was launched by Geekdom. Our changing technology landscape highlights the importance of digital inclusion and the work being guided by SA Digital Connects and its partners to bridge the digital divide in our community. And while we're on the topic of higher education, there is tremendous progress being made across the city. Texas A&M San Antonio is transforming the landscape and opportunity for the public education in South Bexar County through its Aspire initiative. And it is not an exaggeration to say that our city is home to the best community college system in the nation. After a string of awards for the Alamo District, including the Malcolm Baldridge Award, San Antonio College, under the leadership of Chancellor Mike Flores, last year became the first Texas community college to win the coveted Aspen Prize for Community College Excellence. Congratulations, Mike, and let's give Alamo District a round of applause. Now, I've always said that in order for our economy to grow, we must help UTSA rise, and that when UTSA becomes Tier 1, San Antonio will become Tier 1. Well, in February of this year, the once fledgling university that started in the dairy pastures of Northwest San Antonio officially achieved R1 classification from Carnegie, making UTSA among the top 4% of all universities in the country. So birds up, and congratulations, President Amy and your entire team. And how about that Tier 1 football team they've got over there, too? Congratulations to the athletics department led by Lisa Campos, along with head coach Jeff Traylor. And of course, I would be remiss not to mention the amazing championship seasons of both the University of the Incarnate Word Cardinals and the Trinity Tigers. We are looking forward to the upcoming season. There is a lot to cheer about in San Antonio. While the last 2 years have been dominated by the COVID-19 pandemic with an additional disruption from Winter Storm Uri, our focus going forward will be continuing our recovery and rebuilding. We've been through some hard times, but I'm happy to report that the state of our city is strong, and with eyes wide open, we are moving forward. San Antonio has shown its resilience. We always do, and will work to enhance that resilience with historic investment in workforce development, addressing housing affordability needs, investing in infrastructure, and continuing economic development, all while focusing on achieving an era of equitable and inclusive prosperity for the people of our city. But let's be clear, the pandemic has been more traumatic for our city and our personal lives than any event in a generation. We've navigated a high-pressure challenge to find the right balance between public health requirements and messaging that provided the maximum possible protection for our residents while dealing with the simultaneous economic fallout. To serve you, our Metro health professionals worked 7 days a week for over 2 years, and our first responders in the fire and police departments put themselves at a heightened risk of contracting the virus day after day. University Hospital and UT Health San Antonio vaccinated a significant portion of our community, and they continue to do so. And Texas Biomed did important work in the development and testing of the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine while partnering with Regeneron on monoclonal antibody treatments. It was our hospitals and frontline workers and nurses and doctors that stayed in the trenches under treacherous conditions, saving lives while sacrificing their own personal safety. So please join me in showing our gratitude to these public servants for their tireless and selfless dedication. We recognize the great stress that COVID placed on our business community as well, and the city and the county working together dedicated millions of dollars in federal recovery funds as well as local revenues to assist small businesses that were struggling through the pandemic. Of course, the pandemic isn't over, but thanks to vaccines, new treatments, and expert public health guidance, we are returning to normal activities. While COVID was sending thousands of San Antonians to the hospital, it was also driving a dramatic upheaval of our economic landscape, of our community attitudes, and of our own life priorities. Our community saw record numbers of unemployment applications in 2020 from workers whose jobs disappeared during the early COVID surges. According to the Federal Reserve Bank of Dallas, 138,332 jobs were lost in the San Antonio metro area alone during the March and April time period of 2020 as the pandemic took hold. By January of 2022, 99.5% of those jobs had been recovered. Yet, the massive food bank lines in the early months showed the daunting size of the COVID disruption as demand for assistance doubled. But here's the hard truth, and one I hope that we will not forget. Even with a robust economy before the pandemic, some 60,000 families a week were relying on the San Antonio Food Bank just to keep food on the table. While food insecurity is a national problem, a compassionate city can't quietly allow its residents to merely subsist in constant financial peril. Too many of our neighbors remain one missed paycheck away from economic crisis. And while our economy has rebounded nicely, food bank usage remains 50% higher than the pre-pandemic level, even as our unemployment has dropped below 4%, better than the statewide average. The pandemic forced our community to reassess the landscape by highlighting the cracks in our economic foundation. We can do better. We must, and we will. San Antonians have already stepped up to help. In November 2020, 77% of San Antonio voters gave their approval to the $200 million SA Ready to Work program, which will be up and running next month. The program succeeds the temporary Train for Jobs SA initiative, which City Council funded as part of our COVID recovery program, to help residents who lost wages and lost jobs through the impact of COVID. By the time Train for Jobs SA stopped accepting new applications, more than 5,400 people enrolled in training, 5,400 families, more than 1,500 trainees, all representing families, the overwhelming majority of whom were Hispanic women, have been on the new job. Almost 1,900 have gone through the intake process and are pending placement in training. And now, SA Ready to Work is ready to launch, and it's designed to train residents for good jobs that match the needs of our employers and our community and provide an opportunity for a stable career. This program is aspirational about the future of our city, but it's grounded in the real-world economy. And it's important to note that the program was crafted with guidance from the business community, the employers, and it will remain focused on that input. So I want to thank the business and community leaders who stepped up in the middle of the pandemic to help create this initiative. And of course, I also want to express my gratitude to the more than 170 area employers that have signed the pledge to support the program. Filling good jobs and breaking cycles of poverty is our collective mission. So please join me in showing our gratitude for those who are raising their hands for stepping up for our community. Thousands of residents, families, will have the opportunity to escape tenuous financial situations and launch careers with a future through SA Ready to Work, which Moody's bond rating agency, by the way, has listed as a positive for the city's credit rating. This program is an opportunity for transformational change in our city's long-term economic outlook. We are writing a bright new chapter in San Antonio's history. And if we do this right, SA Ready to Work will be a big win that enhances the economic prospects for our workforce and for employers. Ready to Work is already being viewed as a national model and has attracted attention from the U.S. Labor and Commerce departments. City Workforce Development Director Mike Ramsey and I have been asked to discuss the program at the U.S. Conference of Mayors annual meeting this summer. So I am grateful for the help you already have provided through Train for Jobs SA and the establishment of SA Ready to Work. Continued business community participation is essential. and we are relying on your support. Reducing poverty and building a more stable economic environment require a multifaceted approach, and housing affordability is another crucial aspect. During the pandemic, we provided more than $200 million in emergency housing assistance to struggling residents impacted by COVID so that they could stay in their homes. But the housing affordability challenge existed before COVID, and it will outlast the pandemic. Raising a family and holding a steady job are exponentially more difficult for breadwinners who can't afford a home. And families that are housing cost stressed have less disposable income for goods and services, limiting their participation in other sectors of the economy. An estimated 95,000 Bexar County households are cost-burdened. Affordable housing is essential for ensuring that our city's families have an opportunity for success, for reducing poverty, for an overall healthy economic environment. And that's why I launched the Mayor's Housing Policy Task Force back in 2017 and charged the members with creating a comprehensive, compassionate housing policy for the city. City Council followed through by approving the task force recommendations, supporting the Strategic Housing Implementation Plan in December, and now placing a $150 million housing bond on the May 7th ballot to help thwart rising housing prices. While we saw a housing affordability crisis coming before COVID, the pandemic accelerated a national increase in housing costs by disrupting the global economy and creating labor and supply chain problems that sent housing prices skyrocketing across the nation. And of course, all homeowners feel the pain of increasing housing costs through increased property valuations that result in more taxes. In 2021, the median home sales price in San Antonio increased by 14.5% from the previous year. Median rents in San Antonio increased by 15.1% compared to the same time last year. Recognizing the importance of housing affordability, voters last May approved a city charter amendment authorizing the use of bond funds for housing. Now, voters have an opportunity to follow through with funding without increasing the tax rate. And while this is another conversation, let me assure everyone, property tax relief is coming from the city. City staff is already poring over the numbers, and City Council will consider proposals for moving forward with that tax relief this fall. Even during the pandemic, our city's voters have shown their commitment to investing in our community by approving an additional funding stream for Via Metropolitan Transit System in perpetuity, the Workforce Development Program, and reauthorizing funding for pre-K for SA. So if approved, Proposition F, the housing bond, on the May ballot, will provide an unprecedented investment in affordable housing for our city. But of course, the $150 million housing bond proposal is only one part of the comprehensive bond package on the May ballot. Collectively, the 6 propositions represent an essential investment in our city's infrastructure without increasing taxes. The 2022 bond package includes 62 streets and sidewalks projects, 23 drainage projects, 82 parks and recreation projects, 9 projects for library and cultural facilities, and 6 public safety projects. These projects were selected with extensive community input and will benefit every corner of our city. So let's all thank the 2022 bond tri-chairs, Berto Guerra, Jamie Kowalski, and Brandon Logan, as well as the bond committee co-chairs and the committee members for their great service and work. Believe it or not, early voting started yesterday and will continue through May 3rd. So go vote. Even with the mammoth distraction of COVID, our community is making important progress to enhance transportation on the ground and in the air. Late last year, as you heard, City Council approved a strategic development plan for the San Antonio International Airport. The plan includes new terminals, more gates, a runway expansion, and incorporates innovative technology while we maintain a competitive edge by keeping the airport centrally located. That is right. We will turn what was once a weakness into a competitive strength. Work on the plan was launched by the Air System Development Committee, which I appointed in 2018, and so I want to thank Committee Chairman John Dixon for his leadership. The committee's collaboration with Airport Director Jesus Saenz and his team is moving our airport in the right direction. Meanwhile, President Biden's fiscal 2023 budget includes $158 million for Via Metropolitan Transit's first advanced rapid transit line, which would run from the airport to the Missions. While Biden's recommendation needs congressional approval, it is a giant step forward. And let's be clear, Via became eligible to seek this federal funding because San Antonio voters approved a 2020 proposition directing an additional 1/8 cent sales tax to Via after the SA Ready to Work program is funded by the same revenue stream. Previously, Via lacked the revenue stream needed to leverage the federal funding. Now, no longer. Mass transit is crucial for our fast-growing city, and the administration's recommendation is a vote of confidence in San Antonio. As we adapt to a new normal on the heels of the pandemic, we are also addressing perennial challenges and new issues that continually surface on the city's to-do list. Last year's Winter Storm Uri, which led to several days of so-called rolling blackouts, mandated by the Electrical Reliability Council of Texas, cast a national spotlight on the state's lack of preparation for extreme weather events. While the state bears responsibility for the brownouts, the crisis unveiled local areas of concern that we've been working to address. Last year, I formed the Committee on Emergency Preparedness. The panel, which was skillfully chaired by former Councilmember Reed Williams, recommended improved communications and weatherization to maintain resiliency in extreme weather events. I also established the Municipal Utilities Committee, chaired by Councilmember John Courage, to increase transparency and communication between City Council and our public utility companies. And CPS Energy continues to pursue litigation contesting the wildly exorbitant natural gas costs that were charged during the crisis. Let me recognize Interim CEO Rudy Garza for his strong leadership in helping steady the ship at CPS after an incredibly challenging 2021. Public safety. It's one of the city's core issues, and I'm pleased to note the recently completed smooth negotiations between city staff and the San Antonio Police Officers Association. I appreciate the productive pace of the discussions, which resulted in a worthy agreement on a new police contract. The city staff and union officials negotiated a proposed contract that addresses important concerns about disciplinary procedures and provides our officers with fair compensation and benefits. I am optimistic that the contract agreement will be approved. And so before closing, I want to take note of our city's long-lasting relationship with the military and recognize one of our community's most committed and strongest partners, Brigadier General Carolyn Miller. Our partnership with the military played a significant role during the height of the pandemic. While COVID-19 wreaked havoc on our economy, our military's economic impact was a constant. No one in the military was laid off, furloughed, or lost pay. Military contracts were not terminated, and military medical facilities remained open. As COVID-19 patients strained civilian hospital bed capacity, the military stepped in to support by agreeing to take civilian trauma patients at their medical facilities. During the most critical hours of Winter Storm Uri, the military was represented in our Emergency Operations Center, and they provided equipment, vehicles, water, trucks, personnel, and other logistical support, augmenting the city's resources. Our partnership and support of the military is not a slogan. It's non-negotiable, and this support is tangible, with concrete results bringing jobs to the city and protecting our military presence from cuts and realignments. General Miller's tenure as the Joint Base San Antonio commander will come to an end officially on May 3rd, when she will turn over the reins to Brigadier General Russell Driggers. During her time in San Antonio, Carolyn performed her duties superbly and, as I've mentioned, was an essential city partner. There was probably no better way to cap her tenure in San Antonio than the wildly successful return of the Great Texas Air Show that was hosted here this past weekend. So, Carolyn, thank you on behalf of our community. You will always have a home in San Antonio, and best of luck in your new assignment, and we hope to see you back here in the future. To Brigadier General Driggers, Dirk, welcome to San Antonio. You will find that in our city, there is no fence line, and the military is in our DNA. Know that you have a direct and open line of communication through our Military Transformation Task Force, our Military and Veteran Affairs Department, and with my office. We look forward to working with you and your team. The obstacles of the last 2 years have been unprecedented, but with a unified effort, our community withstood the challenges. In the San Antonio way, we have demonstrated the power of working together as a community, city and county, our medical community and military, businesses and neighborhoods, north side and south side. Yes, Aggies and Longhorns, even Roadrunners and Jaguars. And now, as we devote significant resources to the ongoing pandemic, we are rebuilding and on the road to recovery. I am proud of San Antonio's response and our determination to move forward. As business leaders, you know from experience that success requires staying focused on your mission, even as you confront roadblocks and distractions. Our roadblocks and distractions have been historically disruptive, but we've stayed on the road, moving forward to ensure our children enjoy a prosperous future. Not only have we survived, we are fulfilling our promise to come back stronger than ever. Thank you all very much.